All right, we did cover this. Physiology of warming up the battery or the body. Preparing the body physiologically. We're talking about warming up. Believe that proper warm up will prevent strains and tearing muscle fibers. We did cover this. Is this correct? No? Yes? We have not, but we've covered that, right? Okay, well, I was pretty sure we were past this. So physiology, warming up the body, preparing the body physiologically and psychologically for physical performance. We talked about how football players don't just go out there and get hot, but they get their head in the game. Right? Sometimes they get their head in the game way too much, and then they overplay. And then they have to settle down and play better football. What happened last night with the Patriots? They were too ramped up. They went out, they played terrible, then they settled down. They were able to play football. Meanwhile, the Falcons were out there way too long on defense and played 90-something plays on defense, and they got worn out. So, the reason why football people who go out and do track and then they get hurt at track, muscular tendinous injuries, and don't have those same injuries at football is that track just goes out there and they say, okay, swing your leg. That's going to warm you up. Not going to warm you up. You've got to go jog. You've got to go run. You have enough energy, and you will break a sweat. When you break a sweat, you're heating the body from the inside out. The sweat tells you, hey, we're warm on the inside. We've got to cool off. So if it's cooler outside, you might have to do it a couple of more times. Or you might have to wear a sweatsuit. So proper warm-up will prevent strains and the tearing of muscle fibers. No, I turn that on. Okay. Most frequently, the agonist and antagonist. So what muscle group is this? Bicep and your tricep. When one is working, it's the agonist. So if I'm curling and this is getting shorter, that's the agonist. The opposite is the antagonist, which keeps it from shortening. So if your muscles are tight, not only do your muscles have to, the agonist has to work to do the job, but it also has to fight against your antagonist. So in your legs and your thighs, these are four of them. So they're your quads, your quadriceps, and in the back, hamstrings. So agonist, antagonist. Now, is that the only time it can be that way? Are the quads always going to only be the agonist? No. When I bring my leg up, now it's the antagonist. So most frequently, the agonist muscles are torn, or the antagonist muscle. That means that they don't release quick enough. And so the great big quads pull as this one's still trying to pull a little bit, and then boom. You see this especially when you start getting a muscle imbalance from one side to the other. Every guy goes and does his beach curls, right? I'm going to get my biceps up. But how many do you see doing the tricep pull? Yeah, you don't get the real pretty, great big muscle there. So you can get it on your arm. All of them are doing squats. Even though it helps the hamstring, it doesn't help it as much as it helps the quads. So you get a muscle imbalance of quads versus hamstring. This one's weaker, this one's stronger. It pulls the weaker one, and you get a little muscle strain. So we want to warm up. The purpose: to raise the general body temperature and the deep muscle temperatures, reduce possibility of muscle tears, ligamentous sprains, and helps to prevent muscle soreness. For each degree of internal temperature, there's a corresponding rise of 13% in metabolism. You're able to use your energy much more efficiently. 13% rise. All right? At higher temperatures, there is a faster and more complete use of oxygen supply from the hemoglobin and the myoglobin. And so it improves the oxygen supply during work. And then the computer, your brain, can send the signals to your quads, to your hammies, to all of your places quicker and they send it back quicker. So, reflexes, quicker. Maybe pick your feet up and put them back down and keep going, quicker. So, how are you going to do this? Well, you can do jogging, easy run up, or general exercises. You know, even those little things that the Army would do, the old calisthenics, well, jumping jacks, yeah, they work just fine. You don't have to pick one. You can pick several. You can pick one, and it doesn't have to be any specific one. You just have to do enough exercise in order to raise your body temperature. Riding the bike's not bad, as long as you ride it with enough intensity to raise your body temperature. Procedure should mobilize the body for action and make it supple and free. And there must be sufficient duration and intensity to raise the deep tissue temperatures without causing fatigue. So we hear in track, we hear, yeah, I warmed up. Really? What did you do? Well, we ran one lap around the field. Soccer. We warmed up. I ran one lap around the field. Did you break a sweat? No. You didn't? No. Are you warmed up? Yeah. No. You're not warmed up. So it might be 3 laps. It might be 2 laps. Everybody's different. So you can't just put a single prescription for everybody on your team. The only thing that should be consistent is you must break a sweat. All right. When an athlete is sweating, they have raised their internal temperature to the desirable level. So can you do it with the hydroculator? Let me put some hydroculators on my hamstrings. Will that do it? 170 degrees. No. What's between skin and muscle? Fat. And it's an insulator, so it keeps the heat out. What if it was to get passed through, it keeps the heat in also. Just like the insulation in your house. If it's hot outside, it keeps it out. If it's warm down underneath and it's cold outside, it keeps it in. You sweat to keep your body cool. We'll get into that when we talk about environmental concerns. So, these should last for about 45 minutes. And although the warm-up is the game time, the more beneficial. The closer of the warm-up to your activity is more beneficial. You've got about 45 minutes. I usually don't tell them 45 minutes because they're still going to hem-haw around. They're teenagers. All right? There's no sense of urgency. So I tell them 30 minutes. That way they'll screw around for 15 more minutes, and then it'll be 45 minutes. So it'll last that long. Completing general exercises. Start at a moderate pace as to not burn through your glycogen stores. All right. Once you get done, all right, how about sprints? You know how they do sprints during 2-a-days? At the end, they're running their sprints. And what do we tell them? Or if you worked a cross-country meet, okay, and they're done. Where is the blood? Where's it? All right, here's a good question. Do you have enough blood in your body to do absolutely everything your body can do all at one time? Thanksgiving. Got a big meal. Then what happens? You're stuffed and you want to do what? Take a nap? Why do you want to take a nap? Yeah? Why? Huh? Well, your tummy's got food in it. What else does it need now? Got to digest it. What's that take? And what's energy burn? Oxygen. Oh, gosh. Yes. And how do you get oxygen to places? With, it goes in your lungs. What goes through your lungs gets pumped out, gets rid of carbon dioxide, brings in the oxygen. Oh, híjole. Guys have health in 7th grade? Taking it now. So that's where your blood's going. if it's going to your belly to digest your food, where's it not going? Yes, and so if it's not going to your brain as much, you're tired. So you want to take a nap. Right. So let's just say that you ate not a Thanksgiving dinner, but you ate a pregame meal. You had a small piece of chicken, and you had green beans, and you had some water, and now you go play. Who wants oxygen more? Digestive system or muscles running and throwing and jumping and catching and so forth? The muscles. So what happens to the food? It doesn't get digested. It just sits in your stomach. So we'll talk about that in nutrition, about how all that plays. Pre-game meals, that's not the most important one. It's before then, because that just sits there. So the body has this ability to put the blood where it's needed most. So cooling down. We just got done running cross country. Where was the blood needed? Muscles in your legs and arms. Very good. And now, all of a sudden, so when I'm running, the heart's pumping it to it. What else helping? What else is help getting the blood back from where it's in your, yes, your muscles in your arms and the muscles in your legs, every time they contract, they help push that up. Okay? Oh, all of a sudden, I just got done running my 2.8 miles, and now I stop. I go, that was, that was so fun. And why do you look so miserable? And they stop, right? What's happening? What's happening to their blood? Stop. It stopped too. The heart's now the only thing help pumping it around. Why are they breathing so hard? Because they need oxygen, and they're trying to get rid of carbon dioxide. So until the carbon dioxide problem is gone, we're going to keep going. Walk. Cool down. You need to walk. It helps because you're contracting your muscles. And when you're contracting your muscles, you're helping your heart. You're getting rid of that CO2 and oxygen. So the deficit of oxygen is going to help reverse. But you got to walk. You can't just stop. If you stop, the blood will pool in your extremities, where you have more of this blood sitting out here in the middle or out on the outsides than going in and getting recycled. So don't just stop. It applies to exercise or gradually diminishing your work intensity that follows strenuous work. It allows the return of both the circulatory and various body functions to pre-exercise level. All right? 30 seconds to a minute of jogging followed by 3 to 5 minutes of walking. That allows your body. So you got to have at least 5 minutes. You just got done with 2.8 miles. You can't just go and stop. You need to keep walking. So, physiologically, it's important. The important reason for cooling down is the blood, that the blood in the muscle and the lactic acid levels decrease more rapidly during active recovery than passive recovery. So we get this in here all the time, okay? And you'll see it especially up at the other one. The guys will run cross country, the girls will run cross country, and you go sneak into the other training room, and what do you get? Ice bath. And the premise of you getting an ice bath is to get rid of your lactic acid, right? That's what you've been told, right? It's an absolute lie. Your lactic acid will be gone, diminished, no matter what level you're working at, within 45 minutes. By the time you get done, go to the training room, weasel your way in, fill it up with ice and water. There's 45 minutes. And whatever lactic acid is left is going to now be trapped in the muscle and not allowed to escape the muscle. Active recovery helps get rid of the lactic acid. Miss Bates went to this really cool thing just this weekend, and I went to the one the weekend before. And you know what the lactic acid it's there for? To release growth hormone. It's not a bad thing. It's not there. It does not make your muscles sore. That's muscle breakdown, not lactic acid. So active recovery keeps the muscle pumps active, which prevents the blood from pooling in your extremities, which gets your oxygen deficit then to get back to normal. But you don't hear this from some folks because there I am. When I was much younger, I could do that. So flexibility is the ability to move a joint or a series of joints smoothly and easily throughout a range of motion. You got this? Flexibility is to move one or more joints fluidly through a full range of motion. All right? Now, I can take my arm and I can throw. Flexibility. Or I can go and not have flexibility. People who don't have flexibility, you know it when you see them try to do something athletic. They don't get their legs out, they waddle. They can't throw, they shot put instead. You'll see a huge difference. Nolan Ryan, anybody know him? Nolan Ryan. Holy, he's holy smokes. Probably certainly one of, and very well could arguably be the best pitcher to have ever lived. He pitched for 20-something seasons in the Major League Baseball. You don't see cats out there pitching more than 7 seasons, 8 seasons, and they're done. But the reason he was able to do it was flexibility. He had a year-round flexibility program. All right? Think about it. He could throw a baseball 100 miles an hour at 40 years old. The reason he was able to do it is when he released the ball. All right. We're going to say that's 60 feet, 6 inches to that wall. It's not. So the normal guy, he throws, and he gets out 3 feet. So he's at 57 feet, 6 inches when the ball gets released. Once the ball is released, physics says it's only going to do one thing. And what is that? Take your foot off the gas. What happens to your car? It slows down. Once it's put in motion, it stays in motion unless acted upon by additional forces, right? Newton's law. So, the longer something's in motion, right, the more time for it to slow down. So if I'm throwing and I'm only getting 3 feet out, and I'm only getting to 57 feet, 6 inches, and then there's Nolan Ryan. He gets a full 1.5 feet more. He's at 54 feet. That's 2 feet less or a 1.5 feet less. But that ball won't slow down because of his flexibility. And he knew this, and so he insisted that I need flexibility. The other thing that helped him with his flexibility meant that he could get his leg higher. He could reach out farther. He used the great big trunk muscles to generate the speed instead of like these young cats that think it just starts from here and comes to your fingers. So he put all that together. He pitched for 20 years. The first time he was a strikeout king was in the 80s. He still played through the 90s. Pretty amazing stuff. All with flexibility. Low back pain, frequently associated with the tightness of the musculature in the lower spine from hamstrings and quadricep tightness. All right? Good flexibility is essential to physical performance. You've seen people who can't run, right? They have bad hamstring flexibility, and they run like they're got to get to the bathroom quickly. They're not running real fast. And then you see those that run and they just glide. Their legs just get out there and glide. Well, when I was even younger than you in kindergarten, there used to be this song, and we would sing it all the time. Maybe you know it. Foot bone connected to the ankle bone connected to the shin bone. You know this song? You know it? All right, well, let's all sing it together. Huh? No? How are they all connected, though? It's a true song, but how is that true? Tendons, ligaments, and muscles connect those bones together. The ligaments hold the bone to bone, the tendons hold muscle to bone, and the tendons hold muscle to bone. And that other tendon, the other tendon on the other side, it might be on a different bone. Very well could be. So, matter of fact, it has to be. Like your bicep. It's way up here on your humerus, but it comes way back down here and connects to your radius and ulna. It passes through. So, if I'm tight, my joints will be tight. If my joints are tight, I don't have good movement. If my joints are tight in my hips, in my hamstrings, and in my quads, check this out. So there's your hips. All right. Just if I take them up, put them over here. All right. If my quads start getting tighter, they get shorter, right? So what happens? It pulls the front of your hips down. Okay. What happens to that hamstring? It gets yanked up to try and be longer. What happens to the nerves that are coming out that are buried in the hamstring? They get stretched too. You end up with a deal called lumbardo, right there in your lumbar, lordosis, sway back. You know, you've seen those people before. They're behind, way out there, and the remote control that they were looking for is just sitting up there on their belt. No? Yes, that's what happens. So, range of motion. You have active range of motion and passive range of motion. Active, I want you to be active, Catherine. Please be active. You stayed up watching that ball game too long, didn't you? Okay, we stayed up reading too long. All right, active. Are you being active? Yes, she is actively moving. She is the one doing it. All right? So, okay, come on, burn daylight. Actively bend at the elbow. She's doing it. All right? But here's the thing. It's not Kate anymore. It's JJ Watt. What's up, JJ? I need an autograph and a picture. So, you know, you've seen JJ with that elbow brace on? Hurt his elbow. All right? I want you to stop here. Actively move your up. That's as far as JJ can move it. Because he hurt his elbow. That's not, now, this one's not hurt. Move this one. Oh, yeah. Now move both of them. The hurt one, and yeah, JJ can't get it up there as high. But does that mean that that's all the, hold on, JJ, you haven't been cut yet. We just put you on IR. Okay? Now, does that mean that that's as far as that elbow can move? No. That's as far as he can move it. Active range of motion can be moved by the muscle contraction. Passive range of motion. JJ gets it here, but he's not having something mechanically stop it. It's just that his arm's a little weak. I'm able to push it here. Since I have to do it, and he can't, JJ can't. Passive range of motion. The degree to which a joint can passively be moved to, okay, as far as the endpoint. How is that helpful for us? Because we need to know whether or not there's a mechanical block. If there's a piece of cartilage that's blocking it from moving. Okay, then we need to know that. If we can't help him along and get his foot to his behind, then there's something wrong. If it's the other way, then we know it's something else that's wrong. It's not mechanically being blocked. It's just him physically not being able to do it. So how do you find your range of motion? Well, it's not on there yet. We'll have to do it. Tomorrow, this is going to be your 3 deals. Your quiz tomorrow is about stretching. You have ballistic stretch, which is the absolute worst. That's where you see people and they try and bounce. That's ballistic stretch. Bouncy, bouncy, little repetitive. No. Static. Stretch, hold, endpoint. That's not bad. And then PNF, proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation. Use alternating contractions, so they have patterns for them, and I'm not sure what they are because I'm old. But Miss Bates, she knows these patterns, and she's really good at them, and she could probably show somebody quickly. If you put music to it. I'm sorry it's so hot in here. Maybe tomorrow we'll open the door or have Christy come in a little earlier when she's not sweating. Hey, what's wrong with you? What's the matter, Grumpy? That one? That one? Okay, there. Are you done? Are you done? Huh? Are you done? Of course you are. You're finished. What's wrong with you? What's hurting? Ooh, yeah? What'd you do? Let's turn that on.